Shake the anvil and tell the world the truth about Creator's law. That was the message given to me by my adopted Hopi father, Titus Kumayan Tewa, one of the last Hopi elders. And the last words before he passed away, he said, "Roy, tell the world the truth about Creator's law. And write your book and give the message." So the first one to be shaken, because I was telling the truth about the law of creation, the Creator, were the Hopi, notably. The Hopi were also split. So I had the Hopi Tribal Council and the Traditionals, and the Hopi Tribal Council siding with the government, of course, controlled under the laws of the corporate world, mining companies and so on, the banking system. And they didn't like the message. So at the entrance of the farm, Titus Farm, in Hopi land, was a big sign that says, "Titus Farm, sovereign under the Creator's law, one mother, one humanity, one earth." That means world peace. So they gave me an ultimatum after Titus passed away in 1994. They say either you obey our law, the secondary law, laws of the corporate world, the corruption, or you have to leave Hopi land. Because I had to make a choice between the two laws. And of course I gave the best answer to that two options. And so they didn't like it. And I was very explicit about that law because I wrote them a 4-page document explaining the law of the Creator and how this had to be taught to humanity. So they came with a SWAT team and arrested me on gunpoint. Now, this was the very first beginning for me to realize the great difference between the two laws. You see, the law of creation, you don't need to enforce, you don't need the police. It's self-enforcing because it goes by the ultimate force, that is the oneness. Nobody can break the oneness because all is one. How can you break our relationship with the outside, with your breath, for example? You have to inhale, you have to exhale, you have to collaborate, you have to synchronize. That is change. Change, you cannot change. That's the absolute constant. That's the law of creation. So by that law, we are free to interconnect with the entire universe and beyond, with humanity, with the plants, with all people, all animals, so also breathe. That's a law, that is freedom. But that's another law that's contrasting, and that law can be used as a weapon, which ultimately make weapons the law. That means laws that constantly change. It can be changed, can be corrupted, can be broken. You cannot change change. But when you go against it, then of course that's where the problem begins. Now to explain what a law is, a law is unconditional. That means the real law. But if you want to make it unconditional in an exclusive context, you have creation, that is the oneness, the totality, but then in creation, when this is creation, the totality, right, symbolized by the circle, and that law, that constant, is the center. So everyone within the circle, anything within the circle that go by this law, right, is free, has peace, live in justice. Right? So on this earth, everything that goes by the law is maintaining the balance, like seasons. Seasons as a result of the law. It's changing the season, change the day and the night into the day. Inhale and exhale. We eat, we defecate, we drink, we urinate. We maintain this oneness. But then, in this circle, when there is an idea, and that means a concept of order that we want to try out. We call this experiment. This is an experience, but also experiment. So we create a context here within the oneness. This is oneness within the oneness, and it can be, and that becomes territorial. That means it can be a tribe. This is our territory, and if you want to maintain that territory and you want to be in control of the territory with your own laws, because you put your own limits with, outside of yourself, then you have to create your own laws. So you create tribal laws. And if you want to make that bigger and you incorporate other tribes, and eventually it becomes a nation. And you have to go by politics, and you get political laws, and by these laws, the entire territory, all the tribes, all the clans, and everything, including the religions, they have to go by this law, by this constant. So in a nation, you have corporate laws, you have tribal laws, and they all have to submit, and religious laws, to one constant. And so this is the created so-called constitution, and that is the law that controls and they make a territory, it's a border. And so the significance of that is, you see, the law of creation does not change, so everything around can change. But the opposite is, if the law changes all the time, then you do the opposite. The outside, everything had to be non-changing, had to be standard, had to be fixed. So everything in this conventional world, right, the legal world, had to be fixed. Even in your car, when your car drives, you have to be fixed. You need your seatbelt, it's fixed. It's law, you have to be fixed. You cannot do this, you cannot do that. Right? And so those laws had to be enforced. And so those laws can be used as weapons, right? Can be enforced with, make weapons to law. And that is not coming to extreme. That's why you have martial law and all kind of wars, terrorism, also the terrorists, right? They also want to have a nation, right? The Islamic State, for example. That is because they want to enforce their own laws over the law of the creation. Right? So all the religions today, practically all of them, as far as I know, they overrule the law of the Creator. And so they claim territory. This is our church, this is my belief, this is our territory. This is a Buddhistic state, Islamic state, Christian state, and so on. And so, the law of the Creator, the center, that's the common denominator. And with that, you can make peace. The other law, guaranteed, you make war. So, what is today, and humanity is not told about, not explained about what the law is. So when there is so-called an injustice as a result of not obeying the law of the Creator, so we break the laws, we do something, and so we resort to enforcement. So we need a lawyer, we need a judge, but they also need help to enforce the law, so they need the police. And the police cannot do it, you need an army, and so on. And all kind of scheming, right, to make you obey. And the three aspects to make people obey, first is fear, intimidation. The other one is guilt. You feel guilty, so you obey the law, you're guilty. And the other one is shame. So you don't want to have people go against you. You want to say you don't want to be unpopular. So because you feel shameful. Right? So another thing is, in order to belong to a state, to a nation, or a world order, you have to become a member. That means you have to be claimed as a property of that order, and for that you need a birth certificate. Right? So begin with, you have to have in order to be part of the system, when you marry, the man and the woman need a marriage certificate. And what is that for? That certificate indicates that you are a union, right? Including your own territory, your home, your property, that belongs, right, to the state under those laws. So you submit yourself to that law, your union. But it's not a real union, right? Because here they tell you you have equal rights. I come more on that part. And that is very important concept, equal rights, to create conflicts. And then you have another nation here and do the same thing, and they have their own laws, and another nation here, and they have their own laws and their own overruling of tribes and clans and so on, and religions. So, and they all, in the end, want to fix the world under their laws. And how can they do that? So you create law against law. And the ones who has the scheming behind all of this, they create a United Nations. It is a joke, because again, they have laws that all the nations have to go by. That means they have to give up their own laws in order to belong to the United Nations. And so the United Nations create an army, including mercenaries. So whoever is behind the United Nations has a lot of money power, so they can hire the armies, right, and buy the arms and create an army like NATO to control the nations. And some nations don't go by it, so that nation becomes an enemy of all the other nations combined. And all this is happening, why? Because there are secondary laws, right, to overrule the law of the Creator. And all, some nations are more, you may say, civil in the sense of universal justice. And so, but all of them, they claim a territory, a border, including China, Russia, America, Germany, France, Spain, and so on. They have their borders, right? Because they want to secure their laws and their interests. They all have different interests, so they have different laws. And so altogether, whoever is behind the total scene of control, they want to have one monetary system, one army, one government. That's called the New World Order, right? That means the order of few who impose the power through the military, through money and so on, politics, on the whole world. So, how can you do that? And that means the people, humans, have to obey those laws. Ideal is that they do it willingly and in ignorance. Right? So what have been done is this order behind the scenes. They have created in the last stage terrorism. Right? So with terrorism now everyone feels insecure, and everyone allows themselves and all in steps more and more and more to be observed, right, with the cameras, to be treated like criminals at airports, buildings, and so on. And so humanity said, yes, okay, search me, and I'm like a prisoner. Right? And they allow to be spied upon all around the world. Instead of from the center, by the observer, we control of our surrounding from within, right? Because the law, the creator, is one with the creator, and we are creation in the human form. So we can decide how we want to be controlled, or how we can relate, rather than relate to the external. But the other way is around. The external want to control the internal. And that happens in two ways. With food, because the food becomes the blood, and by the blood we're able to have emotions, think, right? Make decisions by the blood from food. That means from internal control. And the other one is by so-called education. Concepts, media, the media also is controlled. So once the internal is weakened, then easily it can be controlled by subtle influences, including by fear techniques, shame, guilt, and so on. And today, everyone who wants to have justice, including so-called wise people among indigenous peoples, right? Indigenous peoples, including from the Pacific, North, South America, Africa, they all want to have justice, and on purpose, right? They are subjected to injustice, right? Violence, corruption, and so on, and now they want to have justice. But under what laws? So they appeal to the United Nations or some institutions that deal with justice, judicial system. So, but this is a joke. It is like asking the fox to protect the chickens. So they have to resort to the same army, police, whatever, right, that was used to create the problem. And now they solved the problem, right, with the same armies and police. And so people protest, they demonstrate, sign petitions. This is absolutely a joke. And there's so-called wisdom keepers, right, including Standing Rock, for example. They protect the land in its territory, and they appeal to the United Nations. They have a team of lawyers, and these people have been so indoctrinated in boarding school, and they talk about great wisdom, and it's all true what they say, but have no idea about what is the essence of justice and their power. And they get indoctrinated from within with all that kind of junk. You see all this, many of them are overweight, right, and sick, and diabetes, cancer, heart disease, suicide, mental illness among the youth, and so on. And none of them, I've talked with many of them, of the so-called indigenous wisdom keepers. None of them talk about really the practical application of the law of the Creator. They don't want to hear it because they don't want to give up their Coca-Cola and McDonald's, right? So to speak. So, and still resorting to justice via the judicial system, lawyers, right? United Nations. It's a joke. It's a joke. And I've been trying to enlighten the people with some basic information, including the Hopi, and they don't want to hear it. So, as long as they have no notion, right, and no application of the law of the Creator, and know how to apply it in our normal daily life, right, through the food cycle, right, to control the blood, it's a guaranteed that all these movements, they will become the greatest losers. There's no way that they can ever have justice. And that is what is happening today. The great injustice is supported by the people who want that justice. It's a joke. Okay? So think about it. I love you very much, but love yourself first. I love the Creator. Go by the law of the Creator. I can follow up on this video about the 2 basic laws of creation. If you have seen this, look at that one. And also go to my website. I was inspired by Tadas Kumantewa. ShakeTheAnthill.info. Like shaking the hill of the ant. ShakeTheAnthill.info. We are one. Not 2, but 1. This is a sign of peace, not this. This is vendetta. We are one. I hope.